Well, hey guys, we're live.
Yeah,
all
man,
right.
this is great.
Well, this went off seamlessly.
This is my favorite week, guys. One, we're shooting together, which is always a blast.
Yeah.
The fact that we're doing this live show again, this is going to be a consistent thing whenever we're shooting in the studio. We're going to be connecting with everybody, which is so awesome. We did it the first time, last shoot, and then this week also is the Feast of St. Patrick, as well as St. Joseph, the Solemnity of St. Joseph. So I've got a Joe Patty Festival coming up on Thursday. I've got this awesome shirt from Mario. Shout out Mario. And it's an Italian-Irish combination that is just absolutely beautiful. Love my hat. Gift from Shield. I appreciate it from Ireland.
We got a great comment already. So
Really?
what we're doing right now is we're going to look at the comments. We're going to answer as many questions. We're going to have a couple beers, have a good time. We're going to try to do this at least every 3 months, but it's a lot of fun. But they said that the audio had problems at the beginning because the microphones couldn't handle riding across his legs. And that's Ham DeLorean. Ham DeLorean, he shows up on our
I love it.
on
He's
our
in our
Patreon.
patron hangout
Yeah,
on
so
Wednesdays.
which is great. Yeah,
yeah,
he's a good
if you
dude.
become a patron, we have a little hangout. We have 20, 30 people on that thing every week, and we talk about the shows and
There's a
sometimes
lot of
reflect on
comments
the
here.
gospel for
Yeah.
the day.
Howard, use your magic. All right, well, he did. Wasn't very magic. He didn't do anything. So we did have a question. Now, this is coming from Liberium Circator, and he gave us a super chat, so we really appreciate that. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Yes, what's our favorite flavor of ice cream?
Oh, cookie dough. For me,
Cookie dough.
Love it. Love it.
I'm a kind of a classical type of guy.
You vanilla, right?
No, mint chocolate chip.
Oh, that's my sister. My sister loves that.
Yeah, like most things, I go old man. I like butter pecan.
Really?
That's-
That is old, man.
That's what I like.
That's not.
So Moses King asked, "What are you guys giving up for Lent?" Ice cream.
Ice cream.
I haven't had any ice cream yet.
Joy Qua says, "Oh my God, the brother has a long beard." Howard, come on, show the beard.
here,
Just
Howard.
Put the beard in the camera.
Look at this beautiful.
Put the
thing.
beard in the
He
camera.
had fish guts like in this part of his beard because we ate fish during lunch. It was a majestic thing.
So
Look
they-
at that thing. It's awesome.
You know, they ask us, they're like, does Howard stay off camera because all of our beards combined don't equal his beards?
No,
No, that's not the
Deli,
reason.
your beard's growing in though, dude.
Yeah, you're
no, if he's ZZ Top, we're like AB Top.
AB. Oh, nice.
Jonathan asked, "How are you guys doing today?" You know, this has been an awesome day for as a first day of the shoot. I think the energy's been high.
Yeah.
We interviewed Brandon Vogt earlier, had an excellent conversation with Jordan Watwood. You know, we have some really good shows coming up in this next batch.
We've got a pretty cool thing tomorrow. Father Rich's bishop
Yeah,
is
I'm
coming
so pumped
here.
about that.
Yeah.
I've been looking forward to sharing, you know, Bishop's story and his testimony with the viewers and the listeners.
I've been looking forward to embarrassing in front of you.
Well,
Bishop.
I think he'll be prepared because he knows how you guys treat me all the time. Mistreat me, I need to say mistreat.
Who drinks the most coffee of the three of us?
Probably. Well, you're half calf.
He's half calf. You're out of the.
You're out of
so
the discussion.
I
You're
think-
out of the discussion.
So
You-
by volume, I probably drink the most, but by caffeine, I probably drink the least.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm having coffee now, and it's like 6:30 in the evening. I'm probably throughout the day 3 to 4.
It's probably even between you.
Yeah.
I do exactly 4 cups every day at the same time.
That's
but
half cap,
But it's
doesn't
half
count.
cap.
Get out of here.
That's it. They said, "Oh my gosh, not beer." They remember the wine tasting episode. Oh yes, beer's happening here.
Beer's always happening.
Rail artist, thank you.
Shout out Debbie Graham. Glad that you're going to the Stations of the Cross on Friday. Make sure that you're hitting the stations, and that's actually one of our shows too that we're going to be sharing in this batch on the stations.
Oh yeah. Josh Mansfield, he's a great dude. We love that guy.
He comes to the
Yeah.
patron hangouts.
He asked what the thoughts are about some of the football free agency period and Tom Brady coming out of retirement. Did you know about that?
That was
No.
yesterday.
That was yesterday.
Yeah.
What?
Tom Brady
Yeah.
announced he's coming back.
Where have you been? In your head in the holy sand?
Really?
Yeah, that's right.
Tell me more, dude.
Tom Brady unretired and he's coming back for the
I think the
23rd
whole
season.
thing was planned. I think it was to maneuver trades Like I do not think for 1 second that this is
Wow,
on its
dude.
face what it is.
Brady did that to
Brady and
manipulate the quarterback
Gronkowski are
market.
like great at this.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that story with Gronk where he was
Yeah.
going to be traded to the Lions.
Yeah.
And,
He retired.
and he's like, how am I going to be traded? I'm retiring.
Oh,
And then he
And
doesn't retire.
Then Brady resurfaces. He's like,
Exactly.
hey, oh yeah, I'll play with you.
It's just great, dude.
will you do an episode about beards? Jim Barron, another good dude.
Oh, I love that
We had a good
idea.
conversation
Episode
with him.
about beards.
Well, we have done
There
an
are a bunch of
episode.
different types of beards.
There are.
And St. Augustine expresses that the beard is, and the size of the beard, it reflects the love of the man.
That's right.
Mm.
Howard is just a teddy bear
He's
then.
a teddy bear.
Oh.
Oh,
Howard Caritas
Howard
asked.
and all your bearded love.
We did talk about one of the bizarre saints, Saint Wigglefordus, who is
Yeah, that's right. I remember
she's
that.
a female who is being a bunch of soldiers were attempting to defile her, so she prayed to God that she would be found unattracted to them, and she sprouted a beard immediately, and then they crucified her.
And she's a martyr too.
She's a martyr too, and she had a beard.
That was one of our first episodes that we shared that story when we were in Hollywood.
That was right.
Wasn't it like the
Honest patron
Badass
saints.
Saints.
No, this
oh
is
no,
the oddest.
that's
Oddest
right. The
patron
oddest. The oddest.
oddest
That's
oddest
right.
Catholic
Yeah, but
saints?
it-
We
yeah.
did an ugly one too.
Well, he
didn't
was
we?
in there, Saint Drogo.
Yeah.
He's a patron saint of ugly people, which is why we all wear his medal.
SD asked Father Richard, where is the tabernacle place in the church that you celebrate Mass on YouTube? So unfortunately, we are in an interim worship space because we're building out our vision for our campus and we're doing a fundraiser. So SD, if you could help us out, that would be tremendous. Right now, the tabernacle is in a side chapel. So we reserve the Blessed Sacrament in a way that's respectful to the Eucharist. And when we have like dinners or dances or other types of functions, we have a number of HOA meetings and a number of other Knights of Columbus and a lot of different things that happen within the church because we only have one building. So we have a respectful place and a chapel, which is kind of like a side wing of the interim worship space, which is essentially going to be the hall.
Yeah.
But good question.
Someone asked, can we give a rundown of the bobbleheads and who they are?
Oh, for sure.
Gordon,
Fisherman.
Fisherman.
Trust the Gorton's fishermen.
Nacho Libre.
St. Francis, St. Joan of Arc.
St. Lucy.
St. Lucy.
We broke St. Michael.
We did,
We did.
unfortunately.
He
We need
go.
He's in repair.
We got to get another one of him.
Almost a Saint Benedict the 16th.
St. Patrick.
Jesus himself, the
Pope.
Word, the Logos.
Papa Francesco.
Yeah, look at that. That's
We've
nice.
got
That's
we've
good
got a
one.
A
Knights
Crusader.
Templar
Yeah, we
Crusader.
got Templar there. And then we got Jesus absolutely dunking on two
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
Jesus,
Shout out
the
Tanisha.
the patron of basketball, slam dunking on little children. Somebody gave us this to us.
Tanisha did. Tanisha
Tanisha
James.
did. Thank you, Tanisha.
I do love that.
It is
It's like
pretty cool.
Matumboing a kid.
And then this is like, I don't know, Crusader.
There is no way that Delacroix is going to be able to grow his beard like Howard. Impossible.
Is that a challenge?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm going to try to pronounce your name, but Jesus Zaid Zerov is challenging you to grow your beard.
Well, mine's going to be darker and it's going to be black. You know, it was
Definitely going to
gray
be greasier.
streaks down the middle.
Greasy.
Hey, take it easy.
Hey, why don't you take it easy?
Why don't you take it easy on me, man? Thank
We
you,
had
Mrs.
we actually had Saint Therese of Lisieux too, but shout out Dan Leary and Sister Margie because Sister Margie fell in love with Saint Therese, and and she's
You're
like,
giving our bobbleheads away?
I gave her a Saint Therese.
It wasn't yours to give, dude.
Hey man,
All right.
It was a moment of when a sister asks you for something.
I know.
You can't say no to a sister, dude.
Okay.
Have you ever said no to a sister? What would that
No,
be like?
No.
I had to once.
The wrath of God.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
We were
Like Sister Joyce Lavoie, could you say no to that Adrian Dominican? No way. Sister Margarita? No way.
we were working. We were potentially, our company was going to work with some Carmelite nuns, and we couldn't do the job at the time. And I had to call them and say, I'm sorry, sister, we can't build your website. We can't help you do vocations. And I had to be the one to do it. It was terrible. It was like being the one.
He called me too. He's just like, "Hey, we got to tell her." I was like, "You got to tell her. I'm not telling her."
It's like having to be the one who put down the family dog. It's terrible. It was not enjoyable.
It's like that scene in Elf when the nun is sitting across from, Elf's dad, and he's like, "But the children."
But the children. Oh boy. Let's see. Raider Nation. Hey, Father, I'm a 10-year-old girl from California. I hope your parents know that you're on YouTube.
Yeah.
Get permission always first. And she gave up chips and meat for Lent. And can she get a shout out? So shout out.
Yeah, big shout out. That's awesome.
That's a good. That's
very
a good,
proud of you.
That's a good thing to give up. Chips and meat.
Yeah.
That's, I think for a 10-year-old, that's pretty.
My 13-year-old son was here last night, and he gave up going out to eat. I think his mom kind of forced that upon him, but he's still sanctified from it.
They asked what we're giving up for Lent.
So I typically give up a lot of different things, but one is entertainment. I try to shift all of my music intake to something that is related to our faith. So Catholic hymns, meditation hymns. I've been listening to these Carmelite sisters that sing like angels in the morning. I love it. I absolutely love it. So that's one discipline that I do. I typically restrict intake of meat, alcohol, and I just try to enter into periods of fasting, certainly on Wednesdays and Fridays, and try to have 2 simple meals in a day. It's tough when these guys come around. Guys come around because it's like, fasting while the bridegroom is here. I suppose.
That's right.
He's the bridegroom.
Yeah.
Sorry, Father, I'm taken. Okay.
Hey.
Someone asked, Father, on a basketball court, who do you want to be your second, me or Delacrosse? And I'm going to answer that. Delacrosse is a freaking amazing athlete. He's a good.
Way better than Brandon Vaught.
No, Brandon Vaught will break your ankles, dude.
Won't.
I've got.
We're gonna have to have a.
He's gonna be here next time we film.
Yeah.
See, I don't even want to be on the court. I'm gonna be the one. I want to be the GM. And here's what I'm gonna do. I want Brandon Vaught and Mike Schmitz versus you and Pagano, and I'm gonna.
Oh, dude,
I'm gonna bet the bank.
Destroy.
Mike Schmitz is like 5'5".
Doesn't matter.
We
Schmitz has got that
destroy.
agility, man. He is going. Your ankles are going to be broke. You guys are going to look like the
He's
1970s.
not even a self-professed basketball.
You guys are like the 73 Knicks, all tall and gangly, and they're going to be like Golden State in you, just draining shots on you like half court.
You and your like fantasies of basketball.
I'm sorry, it's going to happen.
I do like that matchup. I feel pretty confident.
Judith, thanks for the super chat. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Judith. Teresa asked thoughts on Fiat 90 and Exodus 90. Exodus 90, we've had a partnership with them for a long time now, and we just and if you're looking for things to do during Lent, between Fiat 90 and Exodus 90, I mean, there's plenty of things, and the outcome of fraternity and sorority in each respective program. So for those of you who don't know, Exodus 90 is for men, Fiat 90 is for women, and it's a 90-day ascetical program of entering more deeply into the ascetical practices of disciplining your flesh and exercising spiritually and physically and taking some cold showers. I don't think Fiat 90 does the cold showers, but men, we need cold showers. We definitely need it. I don't think they do.
What are those ladies doing? What are those ladies doing, man?
Bubble baths,
No bubble baths.
Calgon.
We take lukewarm bubble baths.
90 days of bubble baths. That sounds like a great Lent.
Epsom salts. We said that we would answer any question, but they said, what do you think of Medjugorje? Now,
oh gosh, let's not talk about that.
We're not going to talk about that because that'll turn into...
I literally witnessed like the argument of the century.
And it
landed on nothing.
And
it went nowhere.
And she'll left the next morning. So let's not do that.
I was leaving the next morning anyway. Trying to attribute...
Anyway, let's move to the next one.
This is why we haven't and will never do an episode on Medjugorje. We disagree on it, and it's better to keep that
That's true.
laundry inside of the studio.
When's Father Mike Schmitz coming to the show? He actually agreed to do a show with us.
He did.
But we haven't circled back
it,
because he was busy.
And
it was like months out or whatever. But yeah, that would
But
be
I don't know if I want to have Schmitz on. I want to keep the magic and the meme going, right? Because I think we're getting more mileage out of the whole
the mystical reality.
Right.
A shout out to Father Mike Schmitz. There's no animosity here, but these guys are trying to put a wedge between us. I don't know what it is.
I'm pulling a Don King, man. I'm trying to get. I want a celebrity priest boxing match, right? I'm going to cast it live and make like $1 million for orphans, And then when Schmitz absolutely rocks you, I can donate, like $100,000 for facial reconstruction.
It's for the kids.
And then the rest of the kids.
It's for the kids.
Yeah, it's for the kids.
Does Father Rich do Mass online?
Yes, I do. So if you go to Father Pagano, spell out Father Pagano, Pagano, we have all of our Masses. We're actually doing daily Mass recently. Big shout out to Matt Deck. Who's a volunteer video editor, and he's really built a beautiful platform for us week in and week out. He has this new artwork that he's put up of JP2 with quotes and like this moving art. It's beautiful. So check out Father Pagano, and we are every single week we're trying to crop out the homily. We're doing streaming of the Mass, and God willing, it'll be an everyday effort.
Mm-hmm. Next one, are you guys going on a pilgrimage to Fatima?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we are.
That's going to be.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And Deacon Tony from my parish and his wife just I was on a phone call with him.
He speaks Portuguese.
Yeah, well, no, that's a different deacon. I am going to try to get that deacon as well.
Okay.
Well, I'm learning Portuguese.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm learning Portuguese for that trip.
Bon dia.
Okay.
You're not learning very well. I just said good day to you, sir.
Bon dia.
Bon dia.
Bon dia.
Yeah.
One.
And
bon
then,
dia.
Have you ever had the Brazilian steakhouse? People typically say Terra Gaucha. It's a Brazilian steakhouse. It's a chain, but that's not how you pronounce it.
I know Fogo de Chao.
Yeah, it's like a Fogo de Chao, but it's not as expensive. Fogo de Chao is super, and it's delicious.
It's amazing. It's my favorite restaurant.
Terra Gaúcha.
Gaúcha.
Yeah. I've learned a couple.
That's useful to know.
Anyways, we're going on a trip to Fatima.
And we want you to come.
The website. The Fatima website. Do we have a Fatima website?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not up just yet.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
It's not? Yeah, it is.
It's not. Me and Howard are working on it tonight.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be live, so if you're watching this and you're clicking on the link now, it's not. But if you go, I'll put a link in the chat. Let's just make it easy.
Who can lay people bless?
So when you have authority over, that's a good question. When you have authority as a parent or a godparent, and then when you have dominion over your home, right? So
or your business too.
Your business, exactly. Well, tell them your story about your business.
Well, I mean, I don't bless my business as like I would bless my house.
Yeah.
As a father, as the man of the home, dominion, like you were talking about. But I consecrated my business to Our Lady of Guadalupe. She asked for it. Like I didn't even like go there.
She asked for it.
She did.
That sounded like a threat.
She did. No, man, it was
You're
beautiful.
asking for it, Mary. You're going to get entangled in this
invited
It
business.
was
into her
beautiful.
heart,
I was like
man.
standing outside Our Lady of Guadalupe and at the shrine, standing outside, and I'm just like, man, the heavens opened up here.
Yeah, buddy.
Poured out upon the Americas, and Mary was like there, and then I just was silent. And in my heart, she goes, "Will you give me your business?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course I will." You know, and then that took off, and then ever since then, like with the Catholic Talk Show, Father Rich and I went down. We consecrated. We have authority over the Catholic Talk Show. You weren't there, but we still exercise our.
I gave an indult.
Yeah, thank you. And we consecrated the talk show to Our Lady of Guadalupe. Hence the beautiful statue. Who gave that to us?
That's our ministry here at the parish, St. John Paul II in Ponte Vedra. But this was from our first festival, and Our Lady of Guadalupe is very present to our development of ministry online in the digital continent.
Yep.
And to participate, we have her here. Just reminding us constantly that she's the one, she's the mama, and she's the one who brought this all about in a wonderful way.
Catherine Pagano, she goes to the Hangouts too.
Catherine, oh really?
Yeah.
Hey, Catherine, are you in your dorm room?
She said, love the shirt, Father Rich. Now she's not.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
I love this shirt.
She doesn't know if she's related to you or not, and if she does know that she's related and she's disavowing you, that's another thing.
Yeah, I would do the same.
Hey, as you know, the Pagano family is very, very big. We're in the top 100 Italian names. And
That's
it's
a claim
just
to fame.
It's a massive, massive family. You know,
Lots of people.
Yeah, my grandfather had a countless number of kids, and I don't even think he knows.
Really? He was a Papa was a Rolling
He was
Stone.
a Rolling Stone, man.
And
He was a Marine, a boxer. He had three wives in Manhattan. Could you imagine?
Three
managing
wives?
that? Yeah,
In Manhattan?
And then my grandmother found out, and that was the end of that.
3 wives in Topeka's maybe affordable in Manhattan? Get out of here.
Hey,
Get out of
somebody
here.
said, anyone know when the next Passion is coming out? I just talked to a guy that's having a fundraiser with Mel Gibson on Saturday, and it's for the resurrection.
Oh yeah.
And it's already half funded, so prayers for that.
Yeah, pray on that for sure.
Yeah, prayers for that. It's not the next Passion; it's the continuation of that story into the resurrection.
Yeah.
So,
It's Passion 2.
Passion.
More passionate, more resurrection.
.com.
Carlos Melgar said, please give a shout out to my wife Betty. She's awesome and introduced me to this show. Betty, Father Rich, why don't you throw a blessing to Betty?
May the Lord bless you, Betty, and keep you and ever prosper you in the Spirit, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Mike Frink asks, what YouTube channels do you watch?
Sous vide everything.
Sous vide everything.
I like to cook.
That's true. Yeah.
I watch cooking channels. I don't consume a lot of Catholic content on YouTube for some reason. I don't know. I read a lot of books.
Yeah, I listen to music a lot.
Yeah, you do.
So Hauser gets a lot of traction
Yeah.
with my feed.
Yeah.
Lo-fi hip hop, chill step beats.
Yeah.
Like those jazz stations that put you in like a digital
Yeah.
coffee shop. I'm like on those things
I
all day
know.
long, man.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love it. And then of course like my NBA channels, Jimmy, I like his stuff. Yeah, there's some cool YouTubers that do some NBA gossip.
Yeah. I like a lot of history channels. So I'll-
I like some history
So
channels.
I
too.
like History Matters. I like Oversimplified History is hilarious. That's great. Then I watch a couple like luthiers who build guitars. Woodford's great. Then I watch a lot of guitar stuff. I watch like That Pedal Show. Those dudes are great.
Yeah.
There's one channel, Pat Finnerty. He's like, Why This Song Stinks. Hilarious. Love that dude. Shout out Beato. Let's see. And then cooking shows like Townsend's. It's like 18th century
Yeah.
cooking. I like
Yeah.
that channel.
I've seen that.
There's one that we haven't mentioned though, definitely a fan favorite of all of us, and that's the Catholic Talk Show. So if you haven't
I
subscribed,
watch it every day.
every day,
I look up in the mirror and I say, why do I have to watch this terrible show every day of my existence? It's awful.
Making it's enough.
Yeah, lo-fi hip hop. I love that.
Is Batman Catholic? We actually covered this in an episode, Catholic super heroes, right?
Yeah.
And the conjecture is Batman's either Catholic or at the bare minimum high church Episcopalian. Right?
Dare we say Anglican?
No, because he's an American, so it'd be Episcopalian.
Okay.
Because if he was Anglican, he'd be in England.
Well, there was a British Batman, wasn't there?
British Batman?
Yeah. With a British accent at some point.
He's from Gotham, dude. No. I mean, maybe like the actor who played him.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the character himself.
So Ashley B says, "Hello, I am a new patron and a Patreon, and am happy to finally join a live show. So welcome, Ashley B. Thank you
Thanks
for your
supporting the
support. Yeah,
show.
for sure. I wanted to know where you guys localized and how did the Catholic Talk Show come to be? How did it start? So currently we're in the studio, which is in my parish, St. John Paul II in Ponte Vedra, and that's in Northeast Florida. And then Delhi, where you at?
Delhi's in Houston,
Mm-hmm.
and then
I'm
she's
in Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
So that's where our locale is.
We started in Los Angeles, in Hollywood. We had our first, 20 or 30 episodes there?
About 25.
Yeah, and then Father was out in California, and then we moved to, you were out in California with your studies, Then we ended up moving to Houston.
You were still in San Diego then?
No, I'm trying to think if it was, we started out there.
Yeah, and then you
came back to Resurrection.
Mm-hmm.
And then flew out from Resurrection, and then we built.
So, anyways, we moved
Houston.
from California to Houston, and now here.
Mm-hmm.
That's the rice-a-roni version of what happened.
It's more or less.
Yeah,
I mean,
but the inspiration really came twofold. One, as you heard before, Our Lady of Guadalupe. I did my internship. I got an MBA in executive production at John Paul the Great in San Diego. And we consecrated our relationship, our efforts. We were whiteboarding all summer. We had these different slide decks for different things that we want to do still that we haven't had much time to invest in. But these guys were at the Napa Institute. They were talking podcasts. Ryan and I talked podcasts. And then it all kind of came together one night where Sheil and Delacrosse were having a conversation. And things materialized because you guys were networking.
But I got to tell the story, though.
Yeah.
So we're on a balcony. We're at the Napa Institute conference, and I don't like going to the talks. I like hanging out with the people. So everybody that doesn't go to the talk, we all hang out, drink wine, and talk, and hang out and have fun. And we're sitting there, and I'm like, this guy's got this podcasting friend in Hollywood, and we're talking. I'm like, yeah, we could really do a good podcast. And I told Sheil, I was like, Sheil, we got to do a podcast. And he turns around to me with a wine glass in his hand. And he goes,
go find Pagano.
Go find Pagano. And that was it. That was it.
Yeah. Having Pagano was the right call.
Yeah.
I mean, Schmitz wasn't available.
I knew you were going to do it.
Anyone like raccoons? I think raccoons are incredibly smart creatures. Very cute. They torment me in the summer.
They're rodents.
They break into my garage and eat my garbage, and it's a problem. But my wife encourages it, and so do my kids. But they're so cute. Like throw an apple to them out in the woods.
Do married deacons have to be celibate? Can deacons give last rites?
So deacons cannot give last rites. Deacons do not have to be celibate. They're typically married, but if their wife passes away, they enter into a state of celibacy, so they cannot remarry. And that's the current situation. And then something that's been brought up in conversation, we had a show with a brother from that is Anglican that came in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember his name, but that was a really good show. Father Justin. And it was a conversation on celibacy and things like that. Yeah. There's some conversation out there in relationship to ritual and if a priest who is married should abstain from intimacy leading up to a ritual. What does that look like?
Yeah.
So there's conversation.
What does that look like? Well, see, when a man loves a woman.
when a man loves a woman.
Sit down. I got to talk to you about some stuff.
How does that work? Mohicans won.
What is your favorite superhero?
I was going to go, who are your favorite saints? They're probably.
We've done an episode on that. No one
Padre
watched it.
Pio.
We did a whole episode on that. No one watched it, and now you come to us asking us this question.
What are you doing?
We got like 4,000 views on that episode.
You must be a new guy.
So I, on principle, refuse to answer that question.
Really?
I refuse. St. John.
John Paul II.
Yeah. Okay. Well, St. John.
St. John.
That's
Oh yeah.
St. Martin.
All right, so we digress with our restraint.
Mark Graff, when's your book dropping?
Whose book? Who's
Mine.
writing a book?
Mark keeps on saying that I should write this book about stuff, and I got
Who wants to write a book?
Who wants to read a book by me?
If there's you give me a lot of pictures, I'll write a book. All right.
Live chat very long. Yes, it is, because we got nothing else to do. Let's see. There was a good question. Does anyone know where St. Joseph is buried? Now, we did talk about this in an episode on St. Joseph. There's a tradition, that St. Joseph is buried in Jerusalem, and no one knows the site, and it'll only be revealed in the end days. Mm-hmm. But no one knows where St. Joseph's buried, and he's sleeping incorrupt. His body's incorrupt in Jerusalem. That's the tradition.
Stephen said, Father Rich, would you consider creating a video series for confirmation formation? You seem great with the kids. They need an enthusiastic example. That's been on my heart for a long time, as well as like baptismal prep and family. So, we've been having conversations. We actually have a sit-down meeting on Wednesday to discuss some more of like the digital build out. We're going to be meeting with Bishop. I'm going to be meeting with Bishop Estevez very soon as well. I see Rich Commando on the chat as well. Rich
Commando!
Yeah, man, my brother. We're going to be working with Rich too. God willing, very soon. Please keep that in prayer because that is most definitely in my heart. And I think we have a great team of people, Catholic Talk Show, Fuzati, and our friends like Brandon Vogt. And there's a lot that we can really do. So I'm hoping in the build out of our parish and the studio goes hand in hand. And we hope to do some of that. So definitely, please keep that in prayer.
In each of your opinions, who would be the official patron saint of the Catholic Talk Show?
Well, we've talked. Saint Dismas is, is definitely up there. And it's something that I always go back to when I think of the Catholic Talk Show. I think of what Delacroix said a while ago, and he said, we got to remember that the Catholic way of life is a practice. Like we practice our faith. It's not like none of us are gonna, operate perfectly from a state of omniscience and right practice. Perfect practice, excuse me. Practice. We're talking about practice. So like that always, what I love about this is it's just, friends getting together and sharing the struggle, but also the way of life. And we're blessed, man. We're blessed to be able to walk the path of faith and to celebrate these saints and to celebrate the history and the tradition and to focus in on Jesus and how he's inspiring our life right now. So
just the family that we were born from.
Yeah.
And faith. Like we talked about this on one of the shows, like the martyrs of old and the church and how it's grown and fostered and snowballed into now we have access to all these beautiful saints and writings and things like that. It's just like I felt so connected to Augustine. And I'm like a newbie going into the seminary, and the bishop's like, read this. This guy's just like you. And I'm like, wow, I felt connected to this guy,
Shout out Bishop Gallione. Lift him up in prayer. He's getting older, and he's not doing well, but he was a good bishop to you. Right?
Yeah, he was.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a church offering gluten-free hosts. Is that allowed? No. You can offer low gluten, but you cannot have no gluten. That's because then it is an improper species.
Yeah, that's right.
Invalid species. Talking about praxis, AI. Yeah, AI was awesome.
Don't get me. Don't get me on the
He'll
train,
start
man.
crying.
He will
dude.
start crying.
Father Pagano loves basketball so much, and the players.
And Allen Iverson's at the top of the list, man.
I'll never forget when we were in LA and you were on the couch and you were crying.
I walk in and I see both of you crying. You guys were like on the couch.
Thank you.
I was
You were crying.
Laughter.
No, you were crying. You had blankets wrapped around you, like holding a cup of tea like this. And I'm like, what the good God is going on here?
I denounce that.
It's true. I went outside.
Anyways,
I went outside to
we
smoke.
need a fact check on this.
Dude, I went outside to smoke. I went outside to smoke a pipe, and I was giving a cigarette to a homeless guy and hanging out. And I come back in, and you guys are cuddled up like it's a date night, watching an Allen Iverson movie, crying.
But yeah, we were crying.
He was crying.
You were crying too.
I wasn't.
You
crying.
had tears in your eyes.
I was crying
bro.
in laughter.
He
didn't see it. I was laughing at you. Anyways, Father Pagano loves basketball.
Yeah.
A lot.
Father, can you give my girlfriend Chelsea Lentine a shout out?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Chelsea, God bless you. It sounds like you got a good Catholic man. So amazing, sweet, works with children with autism. Oh my goodness.
Beautiful.
That's my
What a
heart,
gift.
man.
What
What a
a gift.
beautiful, beautiful contribution.
And to have a woman like that as your girlfriend with compassion and
may God bless your
the love in her
relationship,
heart. Yeah,
your
that's
discernment. God bless you guys. Beautiful.
Not that all you accountants aren't there. Well,
How can you get your kids more involved in faith or more enthusiastic about the faith?
It's a good question.
For me, this is, I think, very straightforward. Understand your kids, right? Because each kid's going to be different. There's no carte blanche way, but really know your kid's character. What makes them tick? What makes them interested, right? And then there's always a angle that you can go at. So, like my son really responds to saint stories. He really responds to kind of like chivalry. So that's the kind of thing that you talk to him about. You talked about Saint Martin, Saint George, and Saint Maurice, right? Talk to him about the saints, and then you talk to him about church ancient buildings, right? Things that are kind of, you know, Knights of the Round Table stuff. Like that's what he's interested in. So you interest them in the faith through the things that they're interested in. You know,
all things point to our Lord. All things, you know, and what you're mentioning is the way he created him is the way that he is going to enter into his life, change his life, and guide him on the path to holiness.
that comment is hilarious. I know you're looking at the same comment.
DJ,
but I do wanna,
oh man, that's brilliant.
What happened?
Oh man, okay.
So, we're gonna go back because I do want to answer the question that we're talking about. But BJ said, "I want the crying room in our parish to be named after Father Rich."
Father Hank.
Hey, major love to Vancouver, man. I love your city. I love your city. That is hilarious, Dad. That is. Wow. I will come.
Vancouver.
When you nail that down, BJ, I'm coming out to Vancouver.
Vancouver's one of the coolest looking cities I've ever been to.
Oh, dude, I love that city.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome.
I got in at like 3 a.m, couldn't see anything. It was raining. Wake up in the morning, go out on my balcony. I look out, and I'm seeing the harbor, the sound there.
Buddy, it's beautiful.
And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. You hear the bells ringing up the boats and stuff. It's like 6 a.m, and the sun is amazing.
But I want to jump back into, and this is how we've restructured our whole religious education program here at the parish. I am a firm believer that it has to be lived in the family. So what we're trying to accomplish is we have curriculum where it's a family-led catechesis, it's a parent-led catechesis, and the hope is to create pockets of intimacy between dad, mom, and the children. And having those opportunities with some conversation and some material to talk about, you know, it's helping people that may not know the lives of the saints or some of these doctrinal things that can be driven by parents, and teaching about the Eucharist and giving opportunities for families to come into Eucharist adoration and experiential catechesis and praying the rosary together with other kids. It's been a blessing, dude. And I firmly believe that parent-led catechesis is going to lead to the renewal of the church.
The other thing too is like you gotta be passionate about your faith too.
Yeah.
And you have to show vulnerability in terms of like approaching our Lord and asking for forgiveness and receiving it in the Eucharist and the joy that comes from that. Like the brokenness that we have. Like if you don't show your children that you're broken.
Yeah.
A lot of people raise kids. It's like
you get choked
you do
up
this.
right now?
You do. Nah, just oh,
Drink your beer.
oh, thanks.
Drink your beer, Ryan. No, but that's it, dude.
Anyways, like I mean, even when I mess up with my kids, I'm like, hey, like you got to forgive me. Like I forgive you when you poop in your diaper when you're a little kid. You know what I mean? Like I don't.
Does that
like
merit
it.
forgiveness?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, I tried to help you.
Vinny Boobots, I'm sure, had a thunderous.
Lightning and thunder.
It was lightning and thunder.
Hey,
there was a lot of mercy in the Delacroix house.
Right now,
hey,
so
Vinny Boobots, you know I love you, buddy.
Jeez. You know how much problems you're gonna create with that?
Raider Nation, can you guys please say a prayer for my daughter Aubrey?
She's going off to catechism class right now.
Oh, really? Oh, that's awesome. Well, may the Lord bless Aubrey's time in church this evening, and we'll all lift her up in prayer, and that you be inspired by God's love and touched deeply by His mercy. Amen. Beautiful, Raider. Way to pray for your daughter, man. It's a great thing.
And then Rosa Maria said, "Thank you for your work, but God bless you all."
Oh, thank you.
Let's see.
Nick Caniff, what are your favorite fiction books? You know, for me, growing up, I love a great mystery novel. I've always been that way since I was a kid, even to present day. I don't have a ton of time to kind of dig into to it anymore. But yeah, that would be where I go.
Yeah, I never read a lot of fiction books. I liked Stephen King books; those were good. I liked some stuff like that, but
comic books. I like comic books growing up.
Yeah, I like Batman. Batman comic books.
Howard got a kick out of that.
Yeah, but I never really read a lot of fiction, even when I was a kid. Yeah. I mean, I guess you can count like the Greek myths, like the Odyssey as fiction, or Don Quixote as fiction. I like those.
Don Quixote is
it's an excellent book. It's good.
It's a really good book.
Mm-hmm. So I like those kinds of things as far as fiction goes. I don't really read like Tom Clancy or anything like that, you know. Or
Yeah, Rosa, thank you for the chat there and the gift. MPH 1-ish. Does your church celebrate Divine Mercy Sunday? Sadly, not many do. I do not want to disappoint John Paul II, and I certainly don't want to disappoint St. Faustina. We do. I've done Divine Mercy Sunday at every church I've ever been associated with, even when I was a seminarian. Divine Mercy is a big deal to me personally. So pastorally, it's top priority. So we absolutely do. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be present here at St. John Paul for Divine Mercy Sunday. I'm being called for the very first time in my life, and I'm humbled, and I can't even believe that it's happening, to meetings at the Vatican with the Pope for the Missionaries of Mercy.
Mr. Mercy.
Big shot over here. He's going to meet with the Pope, and we're going to have to hang out with Howard.
And we got to hear about the trip.
It was amazing, dude. I had the best cacio e pepe. It was amazing. I got socks from.
I'm so excited, guys. I'm so excited.
We're proud of you for that. That's really cool.
Just really grateful to God. I'm humbled.
Well, we're going to go to Kansas and meet with Pope Michael. It's going to be cooler. We're going to have fun. Favorite movies. What are your favorite movies?
Favorite movies.
Yeah.
Nacho Libre on the comedy side.
Yeah, and for comedy side, I have two go-tos that always lift my spirit if I'm like down in the dumps and in the thinking zone of in a bad place. Nacho, and then Life. Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence and
that
Cedric.
was a good movie.
Oh man, I love that movie. So those are comedies for me.
Comedies. The Naked Gun.
Those
movies are great. Leslie Nielsen.
All of them.
Yeah, Leslie
Best
Nielsen.
slapstick.
I love.
ever.
If I want to watch comedy, I want it to be very stupid.
Yeah.
Right. Like if I'm going to comedy, my brain wants to shut down. I want to watch that. I want to watch like Sunny in Philadelphia. I just want to be dumb. Right.
Drama wise, I think for me, Legends of the Fall is a phenomenal story.
I thought you were going to say The Bridges of Madison County.
I like my covered bridges.
That's definitely up there. Legends of the Fall. The other one was Remains of the Day.
That's Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins. Celibacy, priesthood service, the dignity of service.
Anthony Hopkins is like a closet Catholic.
Is he a closet Catholic?
He is. He has a house in Ojai.
Yeah.
And he travels through past St. Thomas Aquinas College, where my wife went. And he's been stopping there and
It's a
talking
beautiful
to the
campus,
kids.
bro. Oh, no way.
Yeah, for like the last 3 or 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
So you guys didn't ask me my comedy.
That's your comedy.
All right, Red. Have you guys ever seen Red? It's hilarious.
Oh, is it
like
like
Malkovich?
Yeah, and Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. Like, I mean, absolutely hilarious. Like, it's got all the best actors, like, in this hilarious movie about this guy who retired from the FBI. And
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Oh my! You haven't seen it?
We gotta watch it. Yeah, we're watching it
Oh
tonight.
my gosh! It is absolutely hilarious.
The Death of Stalin. That
Oh,
was a
that
funny movie.
that was very funny.
That was.
It's a novelty, but I don't think it was done like perfectly.
I think it was
I
perfect.
thought it was brilliant.
That
It was
that
funny.
got
I thought
me.
it was
That got
absolutely
me.
absolutely brilliant.
It
I
was
also
funny.
like. I don't know if you can call them a comedy, but Lethal Weapon movies
Oh yeah.
and like Die Hard.
That's like an action comedy.
It's an action comedy.
Yeah.
Those were good.
I try to stay away from rom-coms though.
Yeah.
Can't do the rom-com.
Then serious movies.
Serious movies,
Notebook.
dude. I cried like
There was a guy in the
Notebook?
seminary.
baby.
Did
dude.
you
I
really
never
cry?
even watched
Oh,
it.
dude, I couldn't say that was like my girl, man. For
There
me,
was
like
a guy.
Notebook.
There was a guy in the seminary, and he had a notebook like thing on the computer. And I'm like, "What is that?" And he's like, "It's a movie." I was like, "I don't want to watch it." Like it's like some
Dude,
guy kissing some girl in the rain.
Sad, bro. Sad.
Oh man.
We got to get off movies. We could talk
Yeah.
about this all night.
Cartoon. All right, let's just finish with cartoon.
Cartoon movie or cartoon?
Cartoon movie.
Cartoon movie.
We got to finish with cartoon movie.
Well, you're.
Beavis and Butthead.
The movie?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
They made a movie.
Oh, I know they did.
It was hilarious.
That's your favorite.
No. I just throw that out there in case one of you guys liked it.
I think the best cartoon movie was the first SpongeBob movie.
That's horrible.
That's
the pirate one?
No, not the pyro. That's the second one.
That was
the one where they
I've never seen
the one
that.
where they get the crown. I've watched that like a million times with my kids, and I still
Does
enjoy
Space Jam count as a cartoon
Yeah,
movie?
man.
Because I don't like it.
it. Yeah, Space Jam.
Not the new one. The old one. I liked.
When Father cries, Vancouver cries with you. That's why you had that giant harbor outside your city.
Yeah.
All his tears.
That's why you filmed the Notebook there.
Favorite cartoon for me,
You brought up the topic, by the way, so you should have an answer more readily available.
I should, but I'm like going back and forth between two. Beauty and the Beast, all time great story, just a phenomenal story.
Wait, are we going into Pixar? Or are we going into cartoons? Like, what is this? Animation?
Animation?
All right, that's a broader. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
animation, and the Jungle Book, man.
All right, this is terrible.
Louis Prima
Can we
was
get
the
to
monkey.
Another
Okay, yeah.
question. This
Yeah.
is digressing for sure.
It sure is. There's a good question. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Coke. I don't think anyone picks Pepsi. Pepsi's slogan should be, "Is Pepsi okay?" That should be their slogan. Like, I'll have a Coke. Is Pepsi okay? It's like, not really. I mean, there's been times where I'm like, no, I don't want that. And it's not that it's bad. It's just, I don't know. I'd rather have RC Cola over that.
Nina says, "Hey, you guys, I only have one thing to ask. How to deal with someone who thinks that they know everything better than you. Father, can you pray for my family member? He is very sick with cancer."
How would you do that?
I don't know. How would I do that?
Well, you would let them write all the show notes, prepare them weeks in advance. You let them put all the topics together, put all the words on a plate for you to read, and then not do
Silver
it,
platter.
and then complain that you don't have enough time to prepare. And then when I have to carry you
Oh, really?
on my shoulders because I prepared, you should be grateful when someone thinks they know more.
And
that's
you
what
should
you
say,
do.
"He's not heavy. He's my brother," right? You just gotta carry me.
I do
brother.
that. You are my. Yeah. I have to carry.
I'm
you.
glad that
Father
you-
Rich actually. We just work in different ways. I mean, he knows as much as me. So does Delacrosse. But we just have different ways of recalling and different ways of presenting. So
Well, no,
it's
something that with Shield, like he has such a beautiful mind and ability to recall. For me, I've got a refresh.
hey, my mind's up here. Come on.
And
Did you just donate money to our own show?
Yeah, I just did a.
Is
super
that
chat.
are you money laundering?
and all you gave us is $1.99.
What the heck, dude?
Look, I tried to do it, but look, I'm gonna So look, boom, boom, and it says do your own super chat, right? And how do I put the text in there?
I've never done it before.
How do you do that? Whoa!
So Nina, I just want to conclude, and I will definitely pray for your family members, and especially your family member that's sick with cancer. Nina, if you could put your family member's name, and I'm sure that other people who are on the chat right now will lift your family member up in prayer. And when it comes to dealing with people that may be aggressive and very kind of domineering, I think prayer and love and responding with active charity in a constant way, because what's behind that sometimes is like an insecurity in the person that you're working with. So the more that you can empathize with that insecurity and continue to pour love into that person's life, your relationship will grow. And it sounds like a relationship that you are very invested in. So I hope that helps, and it's certainly been my experience in situations. We dealt with this very humorously, but
the other thing too is like, look at our Lord, look at who we follow. We follow a God who is humiliated, tortured. Like, you have to endure that. If you don't endure that, the glory of God won't be revealed in that relationship. I mean, it's like, we all want to like leave suffering. We all want to get away from it. We want to answer an antidote for it. And sometimes it's just you suffering with your Lord and growing closer to him. And so that might be something too.
Yeah, and it's a catalyst. Yeah. That's a very good point. Andreida E1, what do you think about receiving communion in the hand? You know, in respect to the USCCB, you know, we can receive by placing an altar with your hand and receiving the Eucharist in your hand, or receiving on your tongue. As a preference for me, I know when I received communion and God led me through that reversion experience, I received on my tongue, and it was as if I was being fed as a child, you know, by my father, and that devotion really meant a lot to me. I love communion rails and distributing Holy Communion to people that are kneeling and receiving on the tongue. That would be like my greatest preference and longing to foster. And as a father and a priest and presider who administers the Blessed Sacrament, that is certainly a preference of mine. But when we think about what is more filthy and what is more sinful, one's hands and the works and the limited works that we do, or one's tongue, the scriptures express that it is the sins of the tongue that defile the man in the letter of St. James. And, you know, when it comes to what is most treacherous, it is the tongue. But how incredible that God sent down his Holy Spirit at Pentecost as tongues of fire. How special is it that we receive the very body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ on our tongue, and how we long to be governed by the word. So, you know, that's a little bit of a reflection in that area. What are you whispering about?
We got a tattoo question. What tattoos do you have? And besides the one on your lower back,
Dude, I have 0 tattoos. My grandmother was very clear. She said, your body's a temple of the Holy Spirit. You wouldn't deface the church, would you? I said, no, Nanny.
So this tattoo right here is from a stone. Why don't we tell the story about how I got this tattoo? So I was going to the Holy Land with my wife for our 10th anniversary, and there's a tattoo. Razooks. And this guy comes from a lineage of 1,100 years.
800 years. 800
years of tattoos in Ethiopia, and then eventually
Egypt,
the
and the Holy
pilgrims
Land,
in the Holy Land. And so, like, I went into this place, and here
would
it is.
Would you stop showing off your guns? Would you?
So this is a stone that he had, and he changed the date because he had a date on there that was reminiscent of like when people got this.
Yeah.
But I was like, how old is this? And this was from 69.
That's what it says
right there. So 1669, this stone has been used for tattoos.
It's crazy.
And it's funny because my wife and I are in there. It's just me, him, and my wife, and we're hanging out, enjoying this guy's company. And he's got a son that's taking over, like the lineage is in place. And
that's so cool.
And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, so, like, there's pictures on the wall. This is the funniest story. This is definitely me. And so I'm looking around, I was like, that's your great-grandfather. Where's the guys before him? Like, where are the other guys? And he goes, there weren't any cameras back then. And I was like, okay, all right, we're going to do this now. And then he gave my wife a free tattoo, Fiat, which, by the way, if you're a woman and you want to go on an awesome expedition, Fiat Expeditions, my wife is doing this to Bozeman, Montana this summer. The men's group is filled up.
Yeah, it's our kickoff.
Yeah,
it's our kickoff of Fiat Expeditions. Yeah. We started Estovir Expeditions last summer,
year.
And now this is a kickoff for the ladies. And your wife's leading the charge, and she is a powerhouse, and she is awesome. Huge inspiration in my life. We always have to have our heart-to-hearts and our conversations, and you know, you definitely want to check that out. So there's just a few spots left. So check out Fiat Expeditions.
FiatExpeditions.com.
Yep.
So anyways, this was my 10th year anniversary. That's my tattoo. Do you got one?
I've got 4.
He's got
one's
red
on his
fish,
ankle.
blue fish on his butt.
That's right.
You got that one?
Then I have a picture of
Shout out
Pagano
Kyle
crying.
Smith.
Should we move on to the next question?
It seems like he's pretty uncomfortable
I think we're
about
getting
this.
somewhere dark.
No, I skipped school when I was like 14. Me and my buddies stole a bottle of Jack Daniels, drank a bunch of Jack Daniels, and
got a tattoo.
got prison tattoos. Yeah. My daughter's been pushing me to get this tattoo for like a year now. because she just turned 18. She's like, dude, let's get a tattoo together. I'm like, I want to get a
that's
tattoo.
cool.
I'm old.
Yeah.
I don't want to get a tattoo, but she really wants to, so I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Father
That's
Rich,
cool.
have you seen the inside of a cathedral?
A number of them. First and foremost, the first parish, the Cathedral of St. Augustine, where I was ordained a priest. One of the most beautiful cathedrals, and I love it. The cathedral in Houston, also a Ziegler construction and architect out of Houston. Very impressive cathedral, I think. And the older one there, right next door, is also very, very beautiful.
Yep.
I've been in cathedrals and basilicas all over the world, and it's always important to go to those principal churches and pray, and especially when you go to a different diocese. I do like to, like when I was in Baltimore, I was preaching a mission in Germantown. Shout out St. Elizabeth Ann Seton.
Yeah. Dominic Seraphin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Dominique brought me out
He's
there.
a CFR now, right?
No, Dominique.
Her
Oh, no,
brother-
yeah.
Her brother's a CFR.
They're brothers, that's what I
Father
meant.
Pierre Toussaint.
That's right, that's who I meant.
And
I love the stories you tell about him.
oh yeah, he was my buddy, man. He was my roommate in college.
Yeah?
I love him.
You guys used to pray at the churches together?
I know what story
know.
you're trying to provoke
I
right now.
know.
I'm not going there.
Yeah, okay.
But no, like, I like visiting the cathedrals of dioceses, especially if I'm being called there for a mission, to pray for the bishop and to pray for the diocese, and to really open myself spiritually to receiving the charism of that respective diocese to minister to it. So, I've been blessed to be able to attend a lot of cathedrals around the country and around the world.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Oh, no question. Star Wars.
Star Trek is garbage. My wife is a Star Trekkie.
Star
Like
Wars.
old Star Trek. New Star Trek is okay, but Star
Yeah.
Wars is like,
Yeah.
no comparison for me.
Yeah, Mandalorian was good. I'm looking
I think
forward
Star
to
Trek got better.
Star Wars got worse. Star Trek
Worse,
got better.
and then Star
Great.
Trek got better.
I completely agree.
yeah, but it's the same guy. What's his name? The director, Howard. What's his name? You're the worst.
Howard
You're the
Stern,
worst
once
producer,
again.
you
literally
got a
ever.
Google
Yeah,
machine in
he's
front of you.
out.
You're lazy.
You're just
You
sitting
do
there,
nothing.
just sitting there looking
You
at.
trip over cords all day long.
He's just sitting there looking at pictures of fish on Google like Kanye West. J.J. Abrams.
J.J. Abrams,
And he
very
did
good.
know the whole time,
Came
too.
through. So Juan Martinez, what's up, Juan? What's a good source to learn to pray the Liturgy of the Hours?
We have an episode coming out on that in 2 weeks.
Excellent.
Next week, actually.
So I don't want to
Next
give you
week.
too much, but iBreviary, I think, is the easiest, straightforward way to learn the Liturgy of the Hours, and it's free. So check out iBreviary, BRIEVARY. Breviary.
And then Juan also asks, I'm looking at my confirmation. My sponsor's name is Juan. I'm Juan, and I'm thinking of Juan Diego.
Juan Diego.
Is that too
Yeah.
many Juans?
No.
No.
Embrace it.
There could never be too many Juans.
My grandfather's name was John. I chose John as my confirmation name. I named my son John, and it's,
My
Can't have enough.
firstborn would have been named John Paul II. I'm grateful that my first parish as a pastor is John Paul II, because I wouldn't have named John Paul II my son.
you could have.
I
Could have
guess
called
I
him
could've.
Juan Pablo II. That'd be cool.
So yeah, wholeheartedly support Juan, and Juan Diego is our buddy, man. He's another patron of ours.
Here's a good last question. If sin is forgotten by the Lord after confession, then what is purgatory all about?
So we did cover that in an episode about purgatory.
Oh, so
but
you-
here's the analogy that we used in that episode. Okay, Ryan, you steal my car and you crash it.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to get 2 penalties, right, from the judge. The judge is going to say you're going to get 30 days in jail, whatever it is, and then you also have to make the financial restitution of restoring my car.
Yeah.
The judge can then say, I'm suspending your sentence, okay, and your sentence is suspended. That's Christ forgiving your sin. But you still have the temporal punishment of, where's my money, dude? I want my car back.
Yeah.
You have to pay for that.
Yeah.
So purgatory is really about paying the fine, not necessarily the jail time sentence.
Gotcha.
It's the temporal punishment, because there's a spiritual and a temporal nature
Yeah.
to sin.
Yeah.
I know how to answer that one.
No, that was very good.
Thanks.
I'll
Very,
never
very
steal
good.
your car again.
Well, I won't ever steal your Jeep again.
It's not there anymore.
I know.
So Bill Simon. Well, first off, Rosie, hi, darling. She said Forrest Gump. That's also a good. That's talking about
Jenny's
movies,
a terrible person in that movie.
It's horrible, man.
Hey, you know what? I am going to manipulate you for decades, and then once you're a shrimp billionaire, I'm going to come back and say, "Here's my kid." I'm going to, you know, like that's dude, not cool.
Bill Simon, my wife, 3 daughters, and son no longer practice the faith. Do you have a magic pill that can entice their return? Well, obviously, we just want to encourage you to continue to pray and be the best example and love and invite by testimony of just experiences that you're having on your religious journey. But the book, Word on Fire, put out and published, Return, How to Draw Your Child Back to the Church. Brandon Vogt, he's been on he's the most recurring guest that we have.
Him and Steve Weisenkopf are tied.
Oh, really?
They're tied, yeah.
We've got to get Steven back on, too. I really love the
But then that
history
means we have
of
to
this.
get Brandon on, right?
Absolutely. So we're just going to keep on playing them against
That's
each other.
it.
But I found Return to be a very good book.
Mm-hmm.
And Brendan has a few other books in his library. He's written about 10 books, and a lot of them are very, very helpful to people in your situation. So you may want to check out and get some insights from Brandon and get that book.
If you had to immigrate to another country, which would it be?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, I love Ireland. Like, I really, really, really love Ireland. But I also love Italy. You know, a dream would be to live in northern Italy, you know, outside of Milan, especially as I get older and hang out with old Italian men and play bocce ball in my latter years. I would absolutely love that. But, you know, I also love Poland. I really enjoy being in Poland. So those 3 are definitely. I also love Mexico City, but it's just being close to Our Lady of Guadalupe, and I just love the Mexican people, and I've just enjoyed thoroughly. So I
You probably couldn't hear that.
Prayed over.
Man.
I did. I prayed over the whole city, and then went to the basilica and prayed over a lot of people.
The question is,
Prayed over half of them while I was in a wheelchair, waiting for.
did
a
he pray
ride.
over you?
No.
Dude, that's not cool. You guys are supposed to be boys. You're praying over every merry random woman come up on the street, but your boy's got a busted knee and he can't lend a single.
can't
I was
Amen.
pushing him around in that wheelchair. That should be enough,
Oh,
Ryan.
you poor guy.
Oh, okay.
I'm really curious. BJ put a message in there and then retracted it.
Oh, what
You
did
he,
say?
Ryan, the question-
sounds like a lot of fun.
The question was, Ryan, what country would you want to move to if you weren't in the U.S. of God blessed day?
Ooh, probably Costa Rica.
Oh yeah, Costa Rica would be cool too.
Costa Rica.
Belize is very nice.
No,
You don't like Belize?
Costa Rica's a lot nicer.
Okay.
Costa Rica's like really nice.
I would go to. I've always looked at Malta.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I
I don't
really.
want to
We've
go
had
to
a
Europe.
conversation with.
Yeah. Malta, Western Switzerland. My family's kind of from the French-Swiss border, and then I would love to have a place up in the Galilee, just a quiet place and just hear the wind blow.
Yeah,
That's what I would like.
I'm a coastal guy.
I'm a flip flop.
You are flip flop.
Guy.
Flip flop.
Yeah, I need flip flops. I don't need wind blowing and hearing it and stuff.
That's
I need
a good
beach
point.
and
I like
sun.
I like wind. You know, Malta. It's in the middle of the Mediterranean.
That's because you're from a dark place like Cleveland.
Michelle, hello from Missouri. Love and prayers to Missouri, to Sacred Heart Catholic Church there, and school. God bless you, Michelle. Thank you for connecting with us tonight.
Mexican food. We dig Mexican food. We make a lot
Oh,
of Mexican
yeah.
food
Yeah.
here too. While we're
I'm hoping we typically do it every time. Yeah.
maybe we got time tonight. I don't know.
I would love.
I'll make an
that, buddy.
abbreviated version.
I would love it.
Let's see. If we discovered extraterrestrial life, would the Catholic Church allow for alien priests? We
My
mentioned that.
Favorite show.
We did a show on that. It's a great episode.
I love that show.
But absolutely, why wouldn't we?
I agree.
Lies based on that information.
Why would we not allow alien priests if they believe in Jesus Christ? I mean, as long as they're male.
They'd have
I mean,
to
if
be
there's
celibate.
and they have to be celibate. But if they were a female alien, hell no. That's just.
Dude, you're such a maniac. You're such a maniac.
Look, man.
Oh, Jody, the Princess Bride. That's
Oh,
true,
that's
too. And
a
the
great
Scarlet and the
movie.
Black. Also
Princess
a great.
Bride is
What about the
amazing.
Mission? The Mission's a phenomenal.
Oh, that's a great
That's a
movie.
great-
Never seen it.
That's a drama.
What?
Yep. Michael,
We got it. That's
we missed
a
some
must.
super chats. Oh, I'm trying here. Let's see.
How do you find the super chat?
I don't even know, Daddy. Okay.
Carlos.
Love the
Hey,
show.
Carlos.
Love the show. What's one change you'd make to the RCIA process, and would most benefit catechumens and candidates?
You know, I think a lot of RCIA classes are very driven heavily in doctrine and catechesis, which is very, very important. But sometimes what's underemphasized is community life. And you could go through a whole season of formation and go through all the scrutinies, but there's not a lot of sharing and developing relationships with others. So I think that's a component of development that I want to see in my own personal program. But then also just the sense of how important and influential the lives of the saints are, and different associated readings and testimonies of the saints, I think.
Darkar's just spending all of his money on super chat.
Did you put more money into it now?
Yeah,
I hope it was more.
$1.99.
Why? Can you give a little bit more than $1.99?
Okay.
The stock is pay. I think one change that I think would be really beneficial is standardization. It is a different process in every parish.
That's a great point.
And so you're going to have a bunch of people like, well, I didn't learn that at RCIA. Well, I didn't know that. No, that's not what they taught me. And I think, I'm sorry if this makes me sound like a square or mean, but I think conformity is necessary. I think, because it is the Catholic faith and we are to hold all the tenets of it. And if one RCIA teacher's like, well, yeah, but we don't really believe in that anymore.
It's scary, yeah.
So I think you have to have a standard of this is what we believe and this is why we believe it.
And
I
this
mean,
is-
bring like even the Baltimore Catechism for adults, bring it back.
Yeah, it's not complicated.
It's
I
not.
think we've complicated it.
We have, and we've all, I think there's importance to subsidiarity, and custom and culture being associated with, Carlos Melgar gave us $10. Keep up the good work, brothers. I think you need to match Carlos.
He comes on. I just put in 20.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just.
Carlos, I just put in 20. Hey, listen.
Put in 1999.
Carlos.
1990.
Hey, it gives me an option. That's it. Hey, listen. Carlos comes
I love
on our-
basketball. Brian can't still figure out how to send a message. He's still looking at his phone. I love that.
Somebody making fun of me?
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Yes.
Keep it up, basketball. I'm liking it.
Let's see here.
Somebody likes
Naomi's cracking up over you, buddy.
Dude, that happens a lot where, oh man, we had a terrible laugh attack today about something Delacroix said.
Oh yeah.
I can't figure out how
We've
to send a
got to
message.
crop that out and have another blooper reel.
Yeah, Ryan donating $1.99 every few minutes, and this lady's laughing. It's great.
Yeah, and then earlier today, Delacroix is looking up in the middle of a conversation. He's like,
And it's like you think he's not paying attention. He is.
He's
That's
listening.
He's just got resting stoner face, you know. He's just, that's how he absorbs, So it's fine. Are there any Catholic whiskeys? So we actually did talk about this.
Yep.
Catholic whiskeys. There was a monk who actually created the first Scotch.
what was that show? That show was great. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was good. We did that one back in L.A.
We were in Hollywood for that, and it was funny because in that show, we were Sheila and I were sipping the Scotch. Delacroix was like down in the Scotch. Do you remember that? And then Delacroix was feeling it. So I looked at Sheila. I'm like, dude, we got to land this. We got to
bring this one in.
We got to land this plane.
Deli's gonna get us in trouble.
Deli's gonna get us in trouble for sure.
Yeah, but is there any specifically Catholic scotches? Not necessarily. I don't think Scotch is something that are made by a monastery or anything like that, or any Catholic whiskeys. I think. There's the whole. We covered that in the episode. The difference between Jamesons and Bushmills, and which one's the Irish and which one's the Catholic or Protestant whiskey. But I think, what's your favorite whiskeys?
Me personally,
Yeah.
the bourbon field,
Yellow spot.
Whistle Pig, Eagle
Rare.
Eagle
Rare
Rare
is great.
is phenomenal.
It's hard to find.
It is hard to
And
find.
it's not expensive.
No, but it's an excellent whiskey.
Yeah.
Probably go-to would be like a Woodford or something like that.
Yeah, Woodford Double Oaked is really
Oh,
good.
it's
I like
excellent.
that one a lot.
It's excellent.
Hey, when a marriage is annulled, is a relationship outside the supposed marriage considered adultery? No, it's not.
Well, if
Because
it's
your marriage
annulled,
is annulled.
but if it depends on the nature of the
And
relationship.
the
Because
nature
if
of the
you're
relationship,
if
sure.
you're not married, and there's
Mhm.
look, when a man loves a woman, they get to a point where they want to.
We're back to it.
Yeah, we are. It depends on the nature, but if there's an annulment, you are under no,
All right.
you
can
were never
do
married.
An episode on mental health. Saints that have suffered from mental illness.
Saint Dymphna.
Saint Dymphna, certainly.
Dymphna.
Yeah.
Yep, she's the patroness of people who struggle with mental health issues.
When did she live?
But I think it would be great to
13th or
have
14th
a
century.
show on that.
Wow.
Her father
I
killed
Share
her
that sentiment.
because her father went crazy. He literally went like schizophrenic and murderous,
Yeah.
and murdered her, his daughter, because she looked like his wife who passed away and wanted to marry her, and like
Oh, yeah. So, the other thing, too, is like my brother suffers from mental illness. I mean, he's got it under control, but he lives a life that a lot of people would not call normal. But he's happy, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on there. It's like, how do you address that? Does science not want to take a look at it because they're not making money? Or is it, because there's a lot of health things that are going on in the world that are funded by generous people to create means to help that aren't, navigated through by large, companies because of the margins that they can create by the research, which is, a normal thing for a business to consider. But yeah, no, that's a great.
Are you allowed to bring Woodford on the expedition? Yes.
Yes.
It's encouraged.
Yes. For Estovir expeditions and Fiat.
Or Fiat, ladies like Scotch too. Father Rich from Rich Commando, are you going to buy the whole viewing audience ice cream?
If you become a digital parishioner, I suppose.
How does that?
Ham DeLorean, he dropped $19.99 because he ain't cheap like Delacroix. Ham DeLorean just threw a $20 swing right at your chops, man.
I can't wait
love
to
it.
see you on the Hangout because I'm coming at you, bro.
Let's see. Tarot and astrology. Is this live? Sure is. How come Delacroix Ryan don't shave his beard?
Across Ryan.
Why don't you shave your beard?
Get out of here.
Because beards are awesome.
It's like a burner out in San Diego when we went on that hunt in
Yeah.
in Texas. He looks at me and he's like, and that at that point my beard was pretty long, and he looked at me and says, my wife and I, Lisa, we love you, Father Rich. We love you, man. We love your beard. Just trim the beard. Just trim the beard.
Take it out. Take it easy.
A lot of people saying that they're scared about the end times right now with Russia and stuff like that. And, you can't worry
Not
about
even
that.
close.
You can't, not even
Yeah,
close,
yeah.
number one.
You don't know the time nor the hour. Live in joy, live in peace, spread that joy, spread that peace, confront the evils of the world with charity and mercy, and be a part of the revolution of tenderness. And there's one way to live, and it's living in Christ. And if it comes down to the point of death, that's what we're in. That's what we're in on this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we've been going there about a little bit over an hour hour or so.
Has it really?
Yeah, time just flies. So why don't we wrap this up? Why don't
Nina,
you-
I got your prayer, and thank you for his name. Got you.
Why don't we close out with a prayer? Why don't you give everyone a blessing who's watching?
Absolutely. Well, we just thank you, Lord, for the beautiful gift of faith. We thank you for the Catholic Church, our mother, that nurtures us and helps us to grow in greater practice of freedom. We ask that you bless our relationships that we've established with the family that we have in the Catholic Talk Show. We ask that you continue to guide us and share your abundant love with us. Fill our hearts that we may be missionary disciples wherever we may be in the world, and to continue to proclaim the mighty works of Jesus Christ our Lord. We ask this in his most precious name as we pray together in the words that he taught us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. God bless each and every one of you, and I'm so glad that you connected with us on the live chat. And
you should all have liked this video. You had plenty of time to like it.
Give us the thumbs up, and I just want to express, Delacrosse, your generosity in this show has blown everybody away. God bless.
Dude, we should go buy like $4 worth of quarters, put them in a sock, and beat them with it.
Hey, it didn't blow Ham DeLorean away.
So again, check out our pilgrimage to Fatima. That's coming up. If you want to join us, we do every Wednesday. We're not going to do it this week because we did this, but every Wednesday we get a Patreon hangout together.
Yeah.
Again, thank you to all our patrons. We couldn't afford to have Howard here with us, and
I mean, somebody's got to pay for him.
Yeah, I ain't paying for him.
I don't know.
All right, and by us having to put up with him, it's a cross to heaven.
Yeah.
But yeah, we appreciate all the super chats tonight. It's really cool. This is a lot of fun. We'll do this again in, 3 months?
Yeah, no, for
if
sure.
not sooner.
Maybe even sooner. And, we're seeing a lot of loves and thanks. All the love back to you guys. And it is a joy to connect with you each and every week here at the Catholic Talk Show. We wish you well. Continue to journey into Lent and enjoy this awesome week. We have a solemnity and a feast day coming up, St. Patrick and St. Joseph. So make sure you break that fast, celebrate, but then go right back into the desert. God bless you guys. See you next week.